have a confession. We've never watched Lost.
Now, we're tired of hearing about it, so we're finally watching the hit TV show for the first time.
Come along with us to the island.
And please stay close by because
We're so lost.
We need to run, hide, or die. We're also rewatching the classic ABC TV series Lost. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie D. Simone with a frog in my throat. Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little.
Pardon me. I'm going to just apologize up front. I'm going to do my best to back away.
She was breathing in some of the black smoke.
Oh, that
unfortunately.
smoke. I couldn't resist, guys.
But we are joined here Thursday, 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com with our lovely chat room. We hope you jump in there and join us. Angel T in the chat room says, please don't die, guys. We will endeavor not to.
I'm trying really hard.
That is my constant motivation to stay alive. As I think is true for all of us.
Staying alive. No, I can't sing tonight.
Yeah, probably not. Best to leave the singing for people who have a good voice like me and stick to the spoiler policy, Anne-Marie.
Hi, guys. You may be familiar with our spoiler policy. Well, there is a little addition
Spoiler
tonight.
policy! See, I told you I could sing.
Hold on, I'm going to be an emoji.
That'll translate great for the audio listeners.
Want it, though? It's the flat face one. Okay, so spoilers, typically we love them, but for Lost, we don't, because anything and everything is out there, as well as all the speculation in all of the lands. Mm-hmm. Tonight, we are talking about Exodus Part 1.
Not
only,
parts 2 and 3.
Not Part 2, not Part 3. Do not hop in my chat room and tell me something that happens in Exodus Part 2 or 3.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't
I'll have
do
to
it.
boot you. I don't like booting people. I have like a whole group dedicated to not booting people.
Well, to be fair, you know what? We do allow for light spoilers. So you can say, Michael and his crew were still on the raft, but you can't say Michael and his crew were still on the raft except they ate Walt.
They ate the polar bear.
They ate the polar bear who was hiding.
He
was hanging on the underside of the raft, waiting for them to take off.
That's why they had trouble getting in the water. No, but we don't mind. If we hit on something and you're like, oh, that is so close or that is so absolutely ridiculous, don't tell us quite, hey, that's so close or that's so ridiculous. Be like, you'll get more information soon.
We will also accept, ooh.
Yes, we like ooh in typed form, so that's a lot of O's. So,
Definitely.
yeah, just don't ruin it for us.
Yeah, because that would ruin the whole concept of the show. But speaking of the show, I want to get talking about this episode because it was really, really good. So,
it was really good.
Why don't you hit them up with the rhyming episode summary?
I'm going to hit them up. All right. Danielle reappears with a dire warning. Others are coming. They'll be there before morning. The plan involves ships and blown apart hatches. They'll light the fuse if the Black Rock has matches. Michael takes off in his water-bound edifice. Stuff finally gets real in the first part of Exodus.
Exodus. Part Red
1.
Sea.
Part
and reveal the island. The island of the castaways of Lost. I am that Bill Meeks. Anne-Marie, what did you think?
I really liked it, and I'm kind of excited for, the next part, 2 and 3.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to see what happens because, okay, so as much as we try and avoid the spoilers, sometimes you just get them. Like the fact that I know many of the characters that are on a specific little raft are still on the show after this episode. So obviously it doesn't work. So I kind of can't wait to find out what happens.
But I mean, it does leave the question, like, how do they get back?
Right.
What happens?
We don't know how. I don't know how it happens. I just know they obviously have to come back.
Yeah, definitely. They have to go back. But
I just had a moment, but we'll continue.
It was a really good episode. It did feel at parts like it was a little draggy because it was all this person says goodbye, then this person says goodbye.
There was a lot of goodbyes, yeah.
But at the same time, as I said in the rhyme, it felt like stuff finally started getting real, and we're finally moving towards this big climax that we've been building to all season, just kind of hinting at all season.
Well, we haven't seen that smoke monster too much lately, so
that's very true.
It was nice to get him back.
But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it and made me really excited to see parts 2 and 3. But the one thing that impressed me most of all about this episode was the concept flashbacks that they had, because I think this is the first time they've had a flashback that touched on maybe more than one character.
That intentionally did
Yeah.
instead of somebody being like a background guy.
And two, they were all connected. They were all set in the same, like, 45 minutes in the Australian Sydney airport.
Yeah.
I loved the showing of the flashbacks with multiple characters all about to get on the plane. After seeing these characters evolve over the course of the season, it was really fun to revisit the characters as we met them in the pilot.
And it made me want to slap up.
Because they haven't. No character has made a huge leap from who they were before.
No.
But they've all taken very positive steps into becoming better people in most cases.
Steps. Let's just go with they've taken steps.
But it was really kind of cool just to go back and see these versions of the characters as we saw them in the pilot and the couple episodes after that.
Right.
But I do have to say that Shannon and Boone and Saeed's flashback was by far the most interesting because they all kind of interconnected. First of all, Saeed leaving the bag on the chair in the airport is super suspicious and a little dumb, especially.
Wasn't it this like a year after not long after 9/11?
Yeah, and I mean, airport security, they're going to be, and everyone else in the airport, especially that soon after 9/11, is going to be way more suspicious of an Arab gentleman leaving a bag and running away.
Right, especially leaving it near a white blonde girl.
Yeah,
left like the most stereotypical like American.
Yeah, and Saeed's way smarter than that. So I wonder if he had a good reason to leave the bag there, or if he was just being careless because he was so distraught because of losing his friend that we saw in the flashback a couple weeks ago.
I honestly think she looked trustworthy maybe, and he honestly thought she was gonna watch the bag.
Yeah.
That's where he went wrong, Saeed. That's where you went wrong.
I do wonder if Shannon is ever going to tell Saeed she told on him, to the security guard. But you were going to say something.
I don't think she knows it was him.
Really? You don't think she
reading a magazine.
connected
I don't
to
think
it?
she made. I think she, because I don't recall if she even looks up. I think she hears him, and after everything that's happened, I don't think she knows it's him.
Yeah.
Because there's no way of her, like, she doesn't know that person's on her flight. It's the Sydney airport. It can't be small. So I don't think she knows. I think there's a better chance of him recognizing her.
Yeah.
But
which
that in itself is a little weird that he never said anything.
Very true. But then again, he was just like, oh, I'm leaving this bag for a second. He saw her. He walked away. It does lead me to wonder, though, because you'd think he would remember her more if something happened after that. Did Saeed get his bag back? Or did he have a run-in with security and almost not get on the plane? Right. Or did he just abandon his bag when he saw security milling around it?
I think he'd have abandoned his bag.
Yeah.
Well, he'd already been... This is where I'm confused a little bit because he was... I guess he wasn't in Sydney when he got pulled into the airport. He was at Glasgow or something. He was in Europe when he got pulled in to go on the mission in Sydney.
Yeah.
Which I think it's weird that they came back around. But I mean, if they open the bag, they'll see who he is and they'll be fine.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Well, he got on the plane, so obviously he was fine.
Over in the chat room, Angel says perhaps he didn't think about it in that moment. Like he was probably busy with something and did something that most of us would do. Hey, person, could you be a decent person and watch my bag for a sec? But
yes and no, because at that point, you wouldn't do that.
Plus, maybe...
Or you wouldn't say yes.
Maybe it just rings out to me, too, just because... And I don't know if this was true in airports back then, but airports now... Most airports, there's an announcement that comes over every 5 minutes. Please do not leave your bags unattended. If
do
you
not
see
take
an
a
unattended
bag from someone.
Please call security. So this is like a big thing that's warned about in airports.
Right.
So maybe that's why it kind of stuck out to me. Although one other thing about that flashback that I kind of liked was that Shannon, one of the last things we hear Shannon say to Boone in the scene is, "You have no idea what I'm capable of." And in the pilot, after they've crashed and everything, they're still having that same argument. So it was just kind of cool to see that
It
little
just kept going.
thread of continuity
Yeah.
going forward. I also really enjoyed Jack's interaction with Ana Lucia in the bar and the snarky wasp couple who were making fun of Sun and Jin even because they thought they couldn't understand him.
Right.
I really enjoyed both of the characters. So I really hope, if nothing else, and considering this is part 1 of a 3-part episode,
Right.
that we'll get a few more flashbacks of them before they die horrifically in the plane crash.
I think we'll at least get Ana Lucia because we know she's on the plane. We don't actually know that the mean couple that I want to punch in the face is on the plane. They were just in the airport eating.
It seemed
It's
like
assumed.
they seem so featured that it would almost be a shame to not readdress them at some point.
That's
And
fair.
I'm assuming parts 2 and 3 are going to circle back around and show us what happened on the plane. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got little bits and pieces of it, but it would be nice to see it just. I would like to see it all just one scene, just everything that transpired on the plane, everything we've
Well,
seen
I think
so
people
far.
have gone through and like edited that together, but we can't watch that until we're done with all the
Yeah,
seasons.
there is a chronologically lost thing that they've put together that I just saw mentioned online this week, and I was
really?
like, oh, I can't wait to watch that in 4 years when we're done watching Lost.
Right.
Michael Black Lucerok in the chat room says maybe Saeed wasn't familiar with all the Islamophobic fears in the Western world.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially because at that point he was traveling a lot. He was looking for insert the chick's name here. Like he was traveling every couple months, weeks,
Yeah.
something like that. So I think he had to know.
so he wasn't Lil Saeed out of Iraq, not knowing what the world had in store
Right,
for him.
right.
You know,
Well,
he'd been around the block once or twice.
He had been around the block and he was in the military. So I think he might have had some more of us. He would have known about 9/11 and that it was Arabic people.
You know who wouldn't have though?
Who?
Because she was stuck on an island. Danielle, the French chick.
Oh gosh, she doesn't know anything, does she?
Yeah, but you wanted to talk about it.
Sorry, I'm trying to save my throat. Okay, so the French chick, Danielle. I love that she finally made contact with the group. I thought it was precious. I just feel a little bad that she came back to go, hi, y'all are going to die. Just so you know, you can run, you can hide, or you can die. What? Run, hide, or die? How is that an option? On an island.
It's pretty extreme.
It was pretty extreme. But that also means that she's not scared of them. She's scared for them. So she is concerned for the group. Also, one thing that we never mentioned before with her on, and if we did, I've forgotten to mention it again because it's been a while. I'm really impressed by her speech because A, she's French.
Yes.
And she speaks beautiful English. B,
well, you know, Europeans, they know like every language in the world.
they do know a lot more, but well, then shouldn't she have sent out her SOS in English instead of French, or done both? But she's been alone on an island for 16 years, and you know what? You don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
You lose the ability. It's not even like she forgets how to speak. It's harder. Like me right now, I can't talk because I've been isolated for 16 years. So I just thought that was pretty, like, she obviously doesn't have the communication skills, but she can actually do the speaking. So there's that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Also, Angel T in the chat room points out we found out the gender of her kid, which we had a point of contention in our preparations
Yes.
for tonight's episode.
And who
'cause
was
I
right?
thought- you were right.
Thank you.
You were right.
I let's put it out there, folks. I was right. Okay, but back to Danielle, the French chick. So her story is absolutely positively heartbreaking to me. But what 7-month pregnant woman goes on such an expedition even if she's with her husband? That's not safe. It's not safe. I'm sorry, because she was on a boat.
Yeah.
Like they were going to investigate things.
Did we ever find out how long they'd been on the boat though? Because maybe
That's
they were
true.
out on like a
That's true.
8-month voyage, and they had fun the first month, and
That's true.
then they ended up landing on the island.
Okay, see that I'll buy. If we could get that confirmed, that'd be excellent. But it just feels odd that she got. Also, she's French, and they're down in like Australia land, so that's not. It's
Australia
not,
land.
Australia land. Shut up. But this also means that they were on the island for about a month or two before the baby was born, about the same as Claire. and the others came to take her baby the week after she was born, and they're coming roughly a few days after Claire's baby was born. So
There might be some connection.
crazy how both the boat and the plane had a very pregnant woman on board. And this makes Bill's crazy theory about a baby-powered Genesis device way more in the realm of possibility.
Yes,
Way
definitely.
more, and it's kind of disturbing.
Team Genesis device.
Team Genesis device.
Although this also says to me,
Yeah.
in my scientific mind, that you should never let a pregnant woman in your vehicle because you're going to crash on an island.
Only if you have to go over the Pacific.
You could be riding down Route 66, pregnant woman in the vehicle, you crash, boom, you're on the island. You fall through a hole in space and time.
There's a wormhole
Yeah.
to the island. It leads to the Black Rock. Coming soon.
But, I had something I wanted to talk a little bit about Danielle Rousseau as well. And
I'll
that's
just call her the French chick.
And that's the scratches she has.
Yeah.
Now, Locke was suspicious of them, which made me instantly suspicious of them.
Me too.
Because if Locke's suspicious about something, there's probably a good reason, and he's probably right. I was thinking about it, like, what could the scratches be? And a little theory, and this kind of plays into a theory I have coming up in a little bit, but my theory is that the others maybe captured her, tortured her, and then offered to return her daughter if she helped guide the main cast members away from the beach so they could snatch Claire's baby. Maybe she's working with the others, but is she working alone? I have a theory on that coming up.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. We can go with that.
And that's all I'll say. Do you have any theories about the scratches?
I was suspicious as well. However, her covering and saying it was just a branch or a plant or something was very odd that she was able to cover it so well. Again, she's been alone for 16 years. She hasn't had to lie to anyone. So there's that.
And as Angel T says in the chat room, they wouldn't point them out if they weren't important.
That is so true.
Very
So true.
You know what else is really important?
The Black Rock is a freaking pirate ship.
Yeah, it seems kind of important.
Seems a little important that the Black Rock is not a rock. It is a freaking pirate ship. Yo ho ho, what a bottle of rum. What if there's any rum on there?
Hopefully.
I hope so, for everyone's sake.
They can get some of that rum. They can get some heroin from the plane.
They're gonna have a party.
And the dynamite.
They're gonna have a party.
They're going to blow that
Explosive
hatch
party.
open in more ways than one. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. So other than you professional losties out there, who expected this? I did not, under any circumstances,
I did
expect a
not.
pirate ship. I don't know what I expected. Honestly, I think I expected a rock.
I did too. I expected just like a big black rock out in the
Or
middle
a
of
dark
the sea or something.
It's some sort of like shadowy rock figure, sort of like Jake and the Neverland Pirates with Skull Rock.
Yes, I could see that.
Sorry, mom brain.
Or Peter Pan.
Or Peter Pan. It was whatever.
Yeah.
Get in the box. So I didn't expect a pirate. Let's just be honest. Okay, but it makes sense since they were able to get explosives from the Black Rock that it wasn't an actual rock. I don't know what I was expecting from that.
Like I don't know. I was picturing some sort of like cave system
or like a
you know,
camp, like for the others. Let's see. Hold on, wait. It makes sense that they would be able to get explosives from it, though. But in what for? Oh, what form? Ha! Yay, typing. Are we going to be rocking some sticks of dynamite, or is this going to be a powder and fire situation? Because we never actually saw her with the explosives. We just saw the explosions. So that's kind of interesting. And how long has this ship actually been here?
It's a good question.
It had to be there for decades and possibly centuries, just by its location. It's in the middle of the island. Like time, erosion, planetary shifts, all sorts of shenanigans had to have happened so that this boat would be in the middle of, it's 5 kilometers in.
Yeah, so how, that was my big question was how did a boat get out in the middle of the woods? Was there like a big hurricane or something?
You know, I didn't actually, monsoon, not hurricane.
Monsoon.
That actually makes way more sense. It
And
knocks
it
me
is
back down
monsoon
to
season.
it is monsoon season, decades versus the centuries. But you know, even with the monsoon, which I don't think carries things quite like a tornado, where it literally picks it up and moves it miles.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really strange. Like, it had to be there a long time because, like islands, they'll sometimes just be under the water and then, life happens.
Yeah.
And they aren't anymore. And that I could see them, like, wrecking on a tiny-ish island. And then just, they couldn't get off of it. And over time, there's more and more island.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Let's see.
What if the tides shift and it's revealed that it's actually Isla Nublar from Jurassic Park and there's dinosaurs on the island? I will say real quick over in the chat
I was going to
room.
say, there was a lot. Oh.
Let's see. Angel T says, I did not expect a ship. I was like Bill and expecting a literal Black Rock.
Yep.
And then Black Lucerok says, spoiler, the Black Rock arrived when Hook opened up a portal to the wrong realm. And Angel T says, darn it, Killian.
Everybody has a portal anymore.
Yeah. That's a Once Upon a Time reference.
Little Once Upon a Time. Okay. But last but certainly not least, the fact that this ship has to have been there for a very long time makes your Genesis theory even more of a not crazy theory because Ethan was not so old.
Yeah.
And I can see, yes, they can have the babies, but how many wenches are on a pirate ship? They don't take them with them. From what I know. Yeah, I don't know much about pirates.
Well, sometimes they do, probably.
Sometimes I would hope. I mean, they had to have, otherwise. Genesis machine.
Black Lucerok in the chat room says you will absolutely find out how that ship got there, but not anytime soon.
Wah, wah, wah.
But you're definitely still on team.
I'm on Team Genesis device now.
Team Genesis device. Okay,
Totes.
I think we both are, which means it's a great time to take a break. First of all, we want to help get this show out to as many people as possible. One way you can help us do that is by going to iTunes and leaving a review for the show.
And none of you are doing it.
Yeah, because normally what we do is
we read them.
You leave a review and we read them on the show. But we don't have any to read this week, sadly. So get out there, leave us a review on the show. We'd really super duper appreciate it, and we'll read it for you. But since we can't do that, why don't we tell them about our Patreon, Anne-Marie?
So, guys, we've gone through and we've done some retooling to our Patreon over at patreon.com/universebox.
We have.
Between Patreon and ourselves, the minimum donation is now $1 instead of 10 cents. Not that much more.
Should I tell them a bit about the unlockables we have if
yes,
we get enough support?
Please tell us about the unlockables.
A bi-weekly movie commentary podcast.
Ooh.
We'll record a short live streamed instant reaction for Once Upon a Time. So Greetings from Storybrooke might be dead, but you can still hear what we thought about it live on Facebook. We'll produce a video series to teach you everything we know about podcasting, from the tech to the philosophical approach we take to it, and everything in between.
Totes.
We'll add another show. With your help, we'll design a show and launch it. And then the big one, if we get $1,000 a month in support, we'll do a live Universe Box event here in Orlando.
We'll
invite all of you down, and if you won't be there, we'll do a live stream. It'll be a lot of fun. And we also revamped our rewards a bit too. The big one, and this is well within the realm of most people's abilities. We've started the $5 Star Patrons Club.
Ooh.
That's the $5 Star Patrons Club, where if you donate
$5 or more a month,
we will read your name on every podcast we do. Podcast
that we do that month. So this month it's Jason Ritter, Becca Baca, Angel, Kelsey, Monica Jones, Sage of Earth, aka Patty, Harry Seidler, Timothy Peters, and Lisa Babbage. Scrolling. And Hope Molyneux, who always seems to go on the second page.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are awesome. The $5 Star Patrons Club. I really think if any of you need any blood or organs, a transplant, infusion, just call us up. $5 Star Patrons Club. We got your back. If you want to be a member of the $5 Star Patrons Club or help us out at any level and get all sorts of great bonuses, patreon.com/universebox. And remember to think outside.
I wasn't ready, sorry.
It's okay. So we're going to go ahead and go check out our lost expert, Michael Lucero. And he's going to weigh in with his wisdom on Exodus Part 1. Take it away, Michael.
You have a bigger problem. I can vanish into the internet, but I'm just one person. You have thousands of listeners. Where will you hide them? Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Michael.
Hey!
So here we have part 1 of the first season finale of Lost. I love the format they've chosen here to focus not only on one character, but on all the characters and what they were doing before they boarded Flight 815. There's lots of scenes where you see other characters in the background, and it really underscores the idea of all these people who had never known each other before, but who are connected somehow even before they crashed on the island. And on a similar note, I also love the way the raft story culminates here in this episode, and how it took not just Michael and his team, but the entire community of survivors to launch the raft. And these people who were strangers just 22 episodes ago, who still don't really know each other all that well, are coming together to achieve something for the good of all of them. And I think that's amazing. And again, Giacchino's music just makes that moment even more moving and memorable. The track is called Parting Words, if anyone wants to YouTube it. What else? Let's see. We finally see the oft-mentioned Black Rock, which is completely different from anything I'd imagined or anything y'all have imagined, at least as of the recording of this voicemail. I don't know if you predicted anything like that. The Black Rock is a very interesting part of Lost's mythology, and you will definitely learn more about it, how it got there, maybe who was on it, but not till very late in the show. Another one of my favorite scenes from this season takes place in this episode too, the scene where Sawyer tells Jack that he'd met his father in the bar in Sydney. I love the way that Sawyer doesn't outright say it, but kind of spells it out in a way that Jack can make the connections on his own. And Jack's own emotion in this scene is something that I can really relate to. And I also love the way that these two characters, who've had such a big rivalry and antagonism in the past, are kind of in a way almost becoming friends now. Speaking of Sawyer, we've always known since his first flashback episode that Sawyer was an alias. And now we finally get his real name, James Ford.
Yes,
I think this name suits him perfectly, although I can't read the title of that Jesse James movie without thinking of Sawyer now. Oh, yes, I can't wait to hear what you all think of Danielle Rousseau's statement that the monster is a security system whose purpose is to protect the island. What do you think? Do you all believe that? Remember, this is Danielle's theory, a woman who's been stuck alone on the island for 16 years. So is she the most trustworthy source on that?
See, I'd say...
I'm going to go with she's not, just by the way you're saying that.
Yeah, by the way you're saying that.
Absolutely.
But if you hadn't said it like that, if I had read that as
I'd have
text
been like,
or
yes.
something, I'd been like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because if she was crazy, she would have been like, it's a demon from the depths of hell. I made her French.
Yes.
It's just her theory. It might not exactly be the truth. Or it might be, and maybe I'm just trying to misdirect you. Who knows? Now you're even more so lost. All right, so just running through a few small things, and I'll tie this up and send this voicemail out to sea, hopefully with a cooler or two of dried fish and tropical fruit.
Salted fish.
For one, we see the return of Arzt, one of my favorite background characters. We also get to see something I've been waiting for a long, long time. Sun and Jin's reunion, short-lived though it is. I think this scene really shows that Jin cared about Sun the whole time, and that most of what he did was for her.
Yes.
Not that he didn't have some serious issues to repent of, but they're one of my favorite couples on this show for sure. And anytime we get a tearful reconciliation scene between the two of them is a scene I really enjoy.
Wait, that means there's
And
more.
Also, I'm sorry, Bill, but I have to bring up Star Wars here. I love the many references this episode is peppered with, from Montan to losing his arm in Danielle's story, since severed arms are a recurring motif in Star Wars, to Michael correcting Jin while they fix the raft. That being kind of an analog for the scene in Empire Strikes Back when Han is yelling at Chewie fixing the Millennium Falcon. The line that he uses is basically a direct quote from that movie. It won't be the last Star Wars reference you see in this show, too. And finally, a very small complaint. I never really understood why Ed Mars needed 5 guns, and his explanation here in this flashback
was awful.
Doesn't really give an answer to that question, at least not one that makes much sense to me. But it's not all that big of a deal, and I'll forgive a little bit of hand-waving on what's admittedly a pretty minor issue. So all in all, I'll give this episode 89 out of 93 messages in a bottle, and I only give it that low a number because what's coming next is just that much better. As always, thank you, namaste, and good luck.
Namaste.
Is it over yet? Is the Star Wars over
The Star
yet?
Wars was over about 3 minutes ago.
Okay, sorry.
I tried throwing things
I completely
at you.
shut down my life. But thank you very much, Michael. We really appreciate it. Lots of
Yes.
good points, except the Star Wars stuff. Man. Okay, let's get back to the main discussion here. I wanted to talk a bit, and Michael mentioned it in his voicemail, the arts part. The arts part. I really, we were kind of suspicious of arts
Last week?
last week, and okay, now I'm really suspicious about this guy. First of all, he inserts himself into the party heading to the Black Rock. My inclination was that it was so he could keep an eye on them.
Oh, totally.
He's also quick to give up and slip away as soon as
They were close.
There's danger present, or
Danger!
they're close. Maybe he had to report back to somebody. I'm thinking he might be in line with the others. I said this last week. I just want to reiterate it. I think he might be working with the others. He might have been there the entire time. Might have come with Ethan, been in the group the whole time, and now it's action time.
Well, I think when we talked about this, I said he probably just got to look at the roster or the flight manifest to pick a name.
Yeah.
He's just lucky he didn't pick one of somebody that was on the island.
Yeah, but also the fact that the smoke monster appeared got me thinking about some stuff. I'm wondering if maybe Arts and the others have some sort of control over this security system, this smoke monster. I feel like maybe part of the reason he went away, maybe it was to check in, maybe it's because he wanted to summon it for some reason.
Interesting.
The thing that makes me think this a lot though is that. Well, when I saw the black smoke rising up, that's the smoke monster is the first thing I thought of. So maybe the black smoke that's rising up is connected to the smoke monster somehow.
Well, that would make sense. Smoke and smoke monster.
Yeah, maybe that's another part of the security system. And just because
it senses seems, when babies are born?
Maybe. But it just seems so...
Birth has occurred!
It seems so ritualistic to do.
Yeah.
And, it seems kind of foolish if there's nothing weird going on for them to warn the people that they're coming to steal their baby. So I definitely feel like the smoke monster and the black smoke rising up from the others might be connected. So maybe if so, maybe they're in control of the smoke monster somehow. Okay. I also think that maybe Arts might have been sent to draw the main cast. While the others massacre the extras on the beach. I think there's going to be a huge massacre on the beach because most of our main cast members are gone now. I think Claire, Turniphead, Charlie are still there. And then, also Saeed and Shannon, but I think they're probably pretty safe. I see them escaping.
Together with Vincent?
Together, yeah. Charlie, we kind of had pegged last week as being sort of doomed. So I could see him being part of the massacre. But I think Claire and Turniphead are safe because they're so important to the others. They are seemingly so with the Genesis device, Team Genesis device. I'd assume if Jack and company, though, if they make it out of the jungle or Michael and company make it back from the ocean, that there's going to be no other castaways left. I'd assume it's good. We're going to be down to our main cast members and whoever the others are, for season 2. That would be my guess.
Michael Lucero points out in the chat room, again, y'all are not supposed to know it's a smoke monster yet.
Why is that?
Because we never actually see that it's a smoke monster.
Oh, okay.
In this season, it's just known that Lost has a smoke monster.
Mm-hmm. See, I thought when Greg Grunberg... I thought they had specifically called it a smoke monster at some point.
No.
But I thought when Greg Grunberg died in the pilot, that when the pilot
died in the pilot,
that we saw it or something.
I enjoy that we tried to raise to say pilot died in the pilot.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we actually saw it because they were hiding in terror, so they didn't die.
That's fair.
I don't know.
But yeah, that Arts is up to no good.
Yep.
That's what I say.
I agree.
You want to talk about? Yeah. I mean, there was a cornucopia of goodbyes in this episode.
There was, but this specific one was very touching. Jack and Sawyer. We know that Jack and Sawyer hate each other. They've never liked each other. They never get along. They always fight, whether or not about Kate or life. But can we just get a slow clap for Sawyer, aka James, for stepping up and telling Jack about his father? Come on, slow clap it. You're really bad at this. Okay, so this is the type of stuff that makes me actually like Sawyer and feel for him a bit. He comes around, or I'm coming around to his character because he almost said it last episode, I think, maybe the one before, when he realizes it. But, you know, he knows that he's the only person who possesses this information to put Jack's mind at ease, at least about something.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's still stuck on an island, but he went there with such harsh hatred, venomous nastiness with his dad. And Sawyer does take the opportunity, knowing that he may never see Jack again, to be like, listen, I met your dad. He was proud of you. He knew he was an ass, and he just couldn't call you because he was on a really big bender. So, good job, Sawyer.
Yeah, I liked it too because I mean we do know that Sawyer will be appearing later on in the series.
Let's just be honest.
So I'd assume that this sort of olive branch to Jack is going to do a lot for their relationship moving into season 2. Like I think they're going to be a super awesome duo team.
Yeah. Super awesome duo team.
And I also thought it was really sad that Kate didn't really get to say goodbye to him.
I did, and I hate Kate.
That's fair. Oh, yeah, anything fun over in the chat room here?
Let's see. The chat room. Let's see. Michael Lucero says, nope, they never said smoke monster yet, just monster or that thing in the jungle. Angel said, I was happy that Sawyer finally told Jack about Jack's dad. I was waiting for that moment since the flashback episode. And Michael Lucero says, I liked Sawyer's line that Jack was about the closest thing to a friend he's got.
Yes, definitely. All good points.
All good things. All good things.
Definitely. But, you know, as much as this, and we're going to talk about some more later, too, but as much as this episode was about goodbyes, it was also about revelations. There were a few small points that we've been picking on last week and the week before and the week before and the week before.
It's what we do.
That finally got explained or confirmed in this episode. So I figured I'd just go ahead and run through a quick list of them.
Sort of a bits and bobbles of revelations.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, we found out that the plane was put in the safe deposit box by the agent, by the agent who captured Kate, Marshall. And but was he chasing after her because of last week's flashback, or for the big bad thing she did before that we still don't know what it is?
I'm gonna go with the big bad thing.
I was thinking maybe a combo platter because he knows about the flashback stuff. So maybe he was on her because of that, and then the flashback stuff just added more fuel to the fire.
That's fair.
Okay, we also found out that Jack is officially divorced. He does not have a formerly almost paralyzed woman waiting for him back home. Wasn't that it because her back was all broken and he fixed it? So no strings attached, but we still don't know why he isn't married anymore, besides the fact that he didn't really love her. Or at least that's our theory. Also, and as Michael referenced, you know, Jin, we find out that Jin wasn't upset and being a jerk because Sun lied to him. He was upset because he knew his actions had driven her to learn English so she could escape. He wasn't mad at her. He was mad at himself about how bad he screwed things up. I'm glad. I'm also really glad they made up before he left.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's very touching. Very
so
touching. And it's another case, and we've talked about this before, where in the pilot episode, I did not expect to. I expected it a little bit just because, you know, I kind of half remember partially watching the first season years and years ago. But I know you definitely didn't expect to be so on board with this relationship.
Oh, not at all.
And so great with it. Also, we find out that the smoke monster is a security system. It's protecting the island from everybody, but maybe only specific parts of the island. It's still left very vague. Another answer without a full answer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, last but not least, we find out Sawyer's real name. And let's see here, over in the chat room, Michael Lucero says, I like Sawyer's line that Jack was about the closest thing to a friend he's got. Oh, we already...
Yeah, we already did that.
Angel says, to reference a trope, they're like vitrolic friends. All of the feelings from Jin and Sun's scene. Angel T also says, hey, we have all the feelings.
Here, a little bit more on that, because we had a raft full of goodbyes. So Jin and Sun's making up. This was the happiest and saddest part of the episode for me. They finally apologize. They come back together only for Jin to hop on the raft to try and save them all.
Yeah.
He really didn't have to. But I think he felt that was like his penance for his actions.
Well, I think he says it in that scene a little bit too. He says, I'm going to save you. Like he's getting on that staying on that island and realizing everything he did to get them in that position is torture to him. And so he figures the best thing he can do is get off the island and save them so they can get off of it and start their new life together.
Right. But that Korean to English dictionary, though, that was amazing. That was precious. There was not nearly enough words on there for the amount of paper and pencil that they have.
Well, it had all the sailing basics.
Okay, because they're going to say harbor off the stern bow. No, they're going to be going, oh, God, there is a bird coming at your head. Like, Jin, bird, attack. Like, that's what they're going to be getting.
Or look at the polar bear grabbing onto the underside of a raft.
Polar bear on the raft. Exactly. Polar bear would have been better than stern bow. Messages in a bottle. Where the heck did they get this bottle of wine? Was this part of Sawyer's secret stash? It is an awesome idea, but I'm a little nervous for the actual bottle. The raft is exceptionally tiny for having 4 people on it and their stuff. And,
at least they don't have a dog, too.
Well, yeah, we're getting to that. A single piece of paper with all their names and statuses on it would have made a little bit more sense to me. Like, they don't need the manifest anymore on the island. They could have sent the manifest and, rest in peace on some of the people.
Well, I got the impression that they were all just last letters to home in case they don't make it.
No, I get that. I'm just saying it. I don't know. I fear for the safety of the bottle. Okay, now Walt giving Vincent to Shannon. From the outside, this is a super sweet and wonderful thing that Walt does. He knows that he can't bring the dog with him because you can't take the dog on a raft, and he has to leave him with someone. Shannon makes sense for that because of the reasons he says. Vincent kept him company when his mom died, and now he can keep her company now that Boone is dead. Sorry.
I will say that it was the scene I never knew I wanted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But from our side of things, with what we know, yes, they served wine, but it's been a month.
Michael Lucero in the chat room says they serve wine on planes.
They usually serve small bottles, just like the small bottles of vodka that Jack had. From our side of things, we know that Walt has a superpower and knows things about the future, just like his warnings to Locke and to his dad and stuff like that. I feel like there is another reason for him leaving Vincent with Shannon. It's probably for protection, but why for her specifically?
Yeah.
He had the choice. He could have left the dog with anybody. He could have just left the dog. Not that he just left the dog. He could have left it with Locke. It would have made sense because we don't really see Walt and Shannon have a moment other than this, do we?
So you think, and that was one thing I wrote down in my notes, is that this episode was really good about having scenes between characters we haven't really seen interact very much.
Right. And I think it's Walt knowing something's coming. He's knowing that they're going to open the hatch, even though he told him not to.
Yeah.
So he's there to protect him.
I like that, too. Or maybe he just knows that Shannon is important for some reason, or she has something important to do. And maybe that's why. I really like that. That hadn't occurred to me at all. So a very good job, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. Every now I'm good at stuff.
Yeah, and that was a really nice scene, too. Just really, I was kind of anti-Shannon after everything that had happened.
Right.
But that scene and her reaction to getting the dog and stuff kind of brought me right back to Team Shannon. And Team Genesis Device, of course. Okay, well, it's time to rate the episode before Anne-Marie's voice completely gives out. And as always, we're going to use some random form of numbers and an object or something to give it an arbitrary rating to an arbitrary scale.
You'll like this one.
Okay, so Anne-Marie, out of 23 Bs or 42 Fs, I'm giving it a multiple choice here today. What do you give this episode?
39 Fs.
39 Fs?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was really good. It was really good. I'm kind of really looking forward to watching the other two. Yes, that's the scale. The other two parts of the episode. I want to know what happens.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to know what's going on. What's going on? So I don't know why I can't sing tonight, but I am. No, I really liked it. I'm glad that the French chick is back. I'm glad that we got things answered because that's the way a finale should go. But it still asks more questions, and that is absolutely epic. In the words of my children, it's epic.
Definitely. As for me, I'm gonna give it 19 Bs. Okay. Just because a lot of time was spent in this episode with goodbyes and this, that, and the other.
There was a lot of goodbyes.
And while some of it made a lot of dramatic sense, at the same time, it left me a little cold just because I was like, most of these people are gonna see each other again.
Right.
And that might be part of the disadvantage of viewing this so many years after the fact, because I'm sure when people were watching it originally, they didn't know if Sawyer was going to die in the finale or not. Right. We know he's probably not going to.
We know he's not.
But 19 Bs, let's see, out of 23 Bs or 42 Fs, Black Lucerok gives it 20 Bs and 40 Fs, and Angel T gives it 21 Bs or 38 Fs. And let's see, okay, so what would your scale be in Bs?
20.
20? Mine in Fs would be 42 because I love the number 42. Also, 28, 3, and 42 are the last two numbers in the sequence of the lost numbers.
The numbers.
So that was a lot of fun. Okay, so we'd love to hear from you. We didn't get any feedback this week, but we would love to hear your final thoughts on season one. Non-spoilery. If you want to go ahead and send them in, we're so lost podcast at gmail.com. The Facebook is facebook.com/groups/we're so lost. The Twitter's at we're so lost. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on season one, or give us a non-spoilery, like one-sentence description of why your favorite episode of Lost throughout the series is your favorite. Give us the episode title and why it's your favorite. Oh, no. Okay, so we'd love to thank our chat room again.
We love you, chat room.
Angel and Black Lucerok tonight over at live.universebox.com, where we record every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. EST. This show, Be Here or Be Square. Now, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online, or should I tell people since you're third?
You can find me on Twitter at amdsimone, or you can check out my blog, crunchycrafty.com.
And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow all of the podcasts we do at universebox.com. And you can take a raft and put it in water, but you can't make it float.
But it was floating.
I stand corrected. But you know what? It's not surprising that I made that mistake, because not just me, but you too. I mean, really, we're so lost.
Same thing every week, but it's
you?
The music just sort of takes me.
I always dance the same way, but I always change it up a little bit.
I try to.
Okay, let's see here, because we probably are going to end up going to watch the final part here.
I'm going to take some medicine and go lay down and watch this.
So let me get the titles up here so we can vote on them and decide what the title of this episode is. Give me a second. Okay, so here's all the title choices. We have a bunch today.
Oh, I know mine.
Okay, we have Concept Flashbacks, The Arts Part, Scratches, Australia Land, Blow That Hatch Open, # Team Genesis Device, Cornucopia of Goodbyes, and Goodbyes and Revelation.
# Team Genesis Device.
That's me too. That's my vote.
# Team Genesis Device.
So we'll wait on the chat room.
Oh, we have a cornucopia of goodbyes.
We do have a cornucopia of goodbyes.
Black Lucerok, what you got, man?
What do we have here? What do we... The Arts Part or Cornucopia?
So then we have 2 for Cornucopia and 2 for Team Genesis Device.
Okay, so...
What do we do now?
What do we do now?
It's us versus them.
Hey, Anne-Marie. It's our show.
Team Genesis device.
Hashtag Team Genesis device. I like it. Okay, but anyone watching this over on YouTube, I'll just say that tomorrow night, the night after we recorded this, it's Friday, the 26th of August. We're going to be doing a pilot for our rebooted Universe Box show.
It's completely different, but absolutely the same.
Yeah, at 8:30 p.m. And then we're going to be following that up with a patron hangout, which even if you're not a patron, you can totally jump in and join and watch and hang out in the chat room. And it'll be good time. And we're picking out a new logo for Universe Box and everything, the company, as well as the podcast.
Yes.
So it'll be a good time. We hope to see you here at live.universebox.com. And remember to think outside and stuff. But we're going to get going, guys. Good night.
You are the others.
Night. They are the
Totally
others.
are the others.
They definitely are the others in this situation.